Okay, so this is the passive voice, and this is from Unit 7, Lesson 5. And what I like to do to introduce the passive voice is to compare it with the active voice. So if we look at this picture right here, we can see a picture of a boy and a ball. And we might say the boy kicked the ball, and that is called the active voice. But if I look at this sentence and I take the object of the verb, in this case, what was kicked? The ball was kicked. If I take the object of the verb in one sentence and then I make that object the subject of another sentence, I use the passive voice. And the passive voice is made with a form of the be verb. The be verb is am, are, is, was, were, plus the past participle. And here, because the active voice is in the simple past, I use the simple past form of the be verb in the passive voice. So the boy kicked the ball. The ball is the object of the verb. So in the passive voice, I make the ball the subject. And then I say the ball was, because it's singular, past tense, the ball was kicked. And then I can say by the boy. And now the boy becomes what we call the agent. The agent is the person or the thing that performed the action. So instead of the boy kicked, now we say the ball was kicked by the boy. So this is the person that did it. Okay? So again, the active voice focuses on the agent. The passive voice focuses on the object. Here's another example. Millions of people read Time magazine. What do they read? Time magazine. So I take the object of that sentence and make it the subject of the sentence. Read is in the simple present tense. And so I use the simple present of the be verb, is, because it is, Time magazine is, and then the past participle of the verb. So I say, Time magazine is read, and here's my agent, by millions of people. I'm going to scroll down to the next page, page 2. So this is how we make the passive voice. We take the be verb plus the past participle. So once again, it's very important for you to know all of the past participle verbs, especially of irregular verbs. Okay, so that list of verbs in your book on page 225, you really need to study those and know those verbs. Okay. Why do we use the passive voice? So this is an important question. We have to use the passive voice sometimes when we don't know or we think it is unimportant to talk about who did something. So when we're not concerned about who performed an action or it's unknown, then we use the passive voice. So in sentence 1A, it says, the car you wanted to buy was sold last week. Well, who sold the car? Maybe we don't know the name of the salesman, or it's not important. So we use the passive voice. Here, the man was hit in the face while getting off the crowded subway. Well, the subway was crowded. Who hit the man? I don't know. So I use the passive voice again because whoever performed that action is unknown. Okay? Excuse me. We also use the passive voice when we don't want to mention who performed an action. So in this case, maybe I don't want to embarrass someone or I don't want to call to attention the fact that somebody did something. And so this is an important time for me to use the passive voice. So look, sentence 2A says, The copy machine was broken this morning, and now we need to get it repaired. Maybe I don't want to point out that Saul or Rosa broke the copy machine. I don't want to say Rosa broke the copy machine because I don't want to mention who did the action. So this is an important use of the passive voice because I can help protect someone's identity. I can save them from being embarrassed. And I just want to be kind. And so instead of saying, Rosa broke the copy machine, I can make it passive and say, the copy machine was broken this morning. Now I need to get it fixed. Or imagine I'm in a restaurant and I'm drinking some water or something and I spill it. Okay. So I can say to my waitress, excuse me, waitress, can I get some more Coke? Can I get some more tea, some more coffee? My glass was spilled. I don't want to say, I spilled it. I made a mistake. So I say, my glass was spilled and I'm thirsty, or, and I need some more now, please. So again, this verb tense allows us to very politely explain a situation that might be embarrassing to someone. The third one is probably my favorite use of the passive voice. So the third reason why we use the passive voice is this. And you can see here, we use the passive voice to create unity. And unity means to bring everything together. So let's look at these two paragraphs. And notice in this paragraph, I have underlined all of the different subjects. Okay, so let me read this first paragraph to you. Horses are relatively new to the Americas. Spanish soldiers brought them here in the 16th century, and missionaries and explorers used them or used horses later. The Native Americans admired them or admired horses for their beauty and their speed and beauty, and they soon became a symbol of wealth. Today, cars have replaced horses for transportation, but people who can afford horses, who can afford them, still keep them as pets. So in this paragraph right here, you can see that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different subjects. But if I ask you, what is this paragraph about? You can see that this paragraph is about horses. But there's 7 different subjects. Now look at the next paragraph, and we have the be verb and the past participle. Be verb and the past participle. The be verb and the past participle. And notice how it changes the subjects of the sentence. Of the paragraph. This paragraph says, horses are relatively new to the Americas. They were brought here by the Spanish soldiers in the 16th century and they were used by missionaries and explorers. They were admired by the Native Americans for their speed and beauty, and soon became a symbol of wealth. Today, horses have been replaced by cars for transportation, but they are still kept as pets by people who can afford them. And so a lot of times, everyone, I talk to you about reading like a writer and writing like a reader. This paragraph was written by my professor named Mahmoud Arani, and he taught me that this is the best use of the passive voice because it really improves your writing so much when you want to focus on having the same subject. Okay, we are going to get into more details and more practice with the passive voice